Welcome to Come and See, your podcast for finding truth in a world of chaos. Brought to you by All for Jesus Living Waters Ministry. With host and founder Richard Case and co-host and retreat leader Kathy Ricconi. Join us every weekday at this time to discuss news, spend time in the Word, and receive answers to your personal questions about living life in God's truth. And now your host, Richard Case.
Well, good morning, Kathy. Here we are. This is Monday. This is a very, very, very special day for me.
Oh, do tell.
It's June 13th.
Mm-hmm.
And today is my, that we're broadcasting, is Linda and my 52nd wedding anniversary.
52nd wedding anniversary.
52.
That's wild. You realize y'all have been married as long as I have been alive.
Yeah. Whoops.
I turned 52 May 26th.
All right. Yeah.
So that was a good year, apparently,
that
right?
was a good year. Yeah.
Congratulations. Happy anniversary.
Yeah. June 13th.
It is a beautiful thing to see. I'll share, the audience has gotten to know you and Linda through this podcast, but I cannot even express the amount of blessing that the two of you have been and role model, honestly, for so many. You may have your direct children and grandchildren, but the lineage and the heritage that God has given you of his children and the impact and sphere of influence is beyond belief.
Yeah.
So I thank you guys for the example you are,
It's been a joy, and God's given us a real blessing, and asked us to understand really the covenant early is I'm going to give it to you, but you need to give it away. And,
right.
And we love it and we enjoy it, and I get the privilege of living with Lucy Ricardo.
Ricardo.
I love Lucy. And
we should have had her make a quick guest appearance on today.
We should have her come, but she's. I got I need a couple of books I could write. One is just I could write kind of episodes that would be it would literally be worthy of being on I Love Lucy. They're that funny.
I love it.
And the grandkids particularly, they noticed it. I can remember the first time they watched I Love Lucy, and they said, "Hey, that's Oma." Yeah, that's Oma. We got a story, and then another one that I could write is a new dictionary.
Interesting.
Linda has her own words, and she, we talk about things and where we're going to go or who we're going to be with, and she'll come up with a brand new word or get close to it, and usually I say, well, it started with a C. At least your word started with a C.
You were in the ball game.
You're in the ball. Yeah, we get it. And it's pretty fun. So we get to enjoy that, and
that's awesome.
Our life is not boring, that's for sure.
That is for sure. Well, let me ask. I know we're taping this in advance, so you may not already know what you're doing, but do you have special plans for the big anniversary?
Yeah. I'll work on things to. She likes particularly going on a little road trip, so we will have come back from Croatia, but I'll work on because we live in Colorado.
There's a lot of beautiful road trips there.
There's a beautiful, and she loves going to the mountains, so I'll arrange for something special, go out for a couple of days, and we'll just completely, in a sense, just get off of everything and enjoy each other and enjoy the mountains and go hiking, and she loves walking around. We pray a lot, and so it's a really fun thing. So that'll be something for her, and I've just got to get all that organized, and I already know kind of what I want to do, and I just got to I got to make sure I do it.
Excellent. Well, now I'll hold you accountable.
Yeah, that's it. Did you actually do it? Yeah. So we will have a good time, and it's been a wonderful experience for us, and we still have it. I mean, and as people can look at Linda, that you can't believe that it's for her. She still kind of looks a little bit like a kid, and she acts like one for sure. So she's got the life in her and the fun, and no problem hearing her laugh or whenever we need
That
to.
is so true. It's so contagious.
Yeah.
It's so contagious. Yes.
We need to find somebody. I might have shared this before, but when my little grandson Aiden, who we just took to the Formula One race, he's 16 now. But when he was little, we went to a movie with Linda and I and him. And Linda went and sat down, and he and I went and got a Coke and popcorn. And when we walk in, the theater's already dark.
Right.
And remember, when you walk in out of the light to the dark, it's like completely black.
Your eyes haven't adjusted yet, right?
And so he says, well, how are we going to find Oma? I said, well, just wait a second. Well, and literally within 10 or 15 seconds, Linda laughs and well, there she is, right there. We'll go find her.
That's awesome.
She's not hard to find, so it's gonna be fun. Well, we're talking about the covenant. Continue our series here. We're in the section on our responsibility. We've just spent, actually last week, we spent in the whole aspect of getting wisdom. What do you have to say? What is it that your path is? Help me understand it. Cause me to understand it.
Right.
Help me to develop margin so that I have the time. And this is interesting. I didn't mention this last week, but it really struck me. And actually, I was on the phone with a group this morning, and they all had these major decisions that they're working on in terms of, I think God's calling me to retire or do something different.
Interesting.
And all of them were in that place. And they were talking about, I hope God shows me the way. And I said, well, I said, it's a little bit is going to be up to you. Do you have a heart to receive it?
Right.
And I said, the way to receive it is you have to give it energy. You have to give it time. You can't. And see, this is one of the big issues of God's will and walking into his covenant is from our side of it. We know, okay, God knows the answer. I keep saying that. Oh, God already knows the answer. Okay. Their next question. Well, then, therefore, just tell me the answer.
Right.
And then I'll know, and then I'll go off, and when I need the next answer, I'll come back. He said, no. God says, I know the answer, but I'm going to have to walk you into it piece by piece, step by step, revelation by revelation, and don't presume anything. You may go a certain way, and then I gave you permission to go that way, but then I blocked it because you're at a different fork in the road. I need you to turn different now. And I said, for example, Paul, when he was on a second missionary journey, he winds up in basically southwest Greece at the Mediterranean, and he said, well, I'm going to go northeast to Asia. And he starts. God blocks him. Nope. And so, something happens. Circumstantially, it wasn't working. He said, it's not working. Am I supposed to keep going or not? No, you're done. Okay. All right, well, then I'll go north. Goes north. Blocks again. No. Well, as far as he's concerned, there's nowhere else to go.
Right.
East, he's already been. He's not going there. I'm not going to Asia. I'm not going north. West and south is the Mediterranean Sea. So, and God says, hold on. You just keep seeking. And then he gets the vision of Macedonia, the man from Philippi that said, could you please come over here? And he says, oh, I was never even thinking about that. That wasn't on my thought life at all. Oh, okay. All right. Well, then he gets in a boat, goes over. And so what it showed is, and I talk a lot about this, because people basically say, well, since God knows the answer, why didn't he just tell me? It seems like I wasted a lot of time when I could have just done what he wanted me to do. And I said,
well, and sometimes we even question if we heard him correctly.
Yeah, did I hear him correctly? Yeah, that's usually interesting enough. That's our first thought. Yeah, I guess I didn't hear him right.
Right.
And so what God says is that there's two issues here. One, don't put me into a system. The way that I do it, I'll guide you and lead you, and I'm going to do it in a million different ways, including have you learn something from a path that is a dead end.
Right.
or there's a new fork in the road, or
Yeah.
go
And
ahead.
sometimes we tend to think that it's all about us.
Yeah.
And so many times there are other factors at play, other people in play, other things that he's doing as far as growth in other people even, and impacts and people he needs us interacting with, and we are so limited in thinking that really it's all about us and our problem.
That's right.
And this, and the answers he's giving us often involve other people.
That's right. Yeah, and particularly even when he went to Philippi, the first group he comes across is a small group of women, led by Lydia.
Right.
And they're at the shore, and they're processing. What do they know? What do they understand? What's the Holy Spirit saying to them? Prayer. And Paul comes upon him, and basically the Father says, there's the beginning of your new church.
Here, start here.
This is it. Well, it had to be put together for him to come upon them at the right time, and not somebody else. Or am I supposed to do something else? As well, I've got it all organized. And so the issue is, one, don't put me in a box. I'm going to do it in a million different ways. Just enjoy the walk. Don't second guess me. I know what I'm doing. Don't say, well, how come I wasted all my time? You didn't waste any time. I'm teaching you things. I'm helping you understand some things. I'm lining things up. And the second thing, which is what we're going to talk about, is, well, you need to wait. Because I'm up to things that I need you to wait for, because timing is critical. And of course, our timing is when?
Now.
Yesterday.
So
okay.
Really,
all right.
Before even.
This morning, and we had this discussion about these big decisions, and they said, okay, and one of them is already on a vacation, and they were saying, I'm gonna process this and get it figured out in the next week or so. I said, well, probably not. Don't even go into it with, I have to figure this out. You wait for God to show you step by step by step. This would be a great time to process, to talk to your spouse, really get things on the table, see what God would say about it. Where does he want you to go? Ask, seek, and knock. Don't try to figure it out or say, just give me the answer. Is, what do you want me to hear and understand while I have the time to do it? Give the energy to it. So let's look at this aspect of waiting on God. It's very, very difficult. We're really lousy at this, particularly in our culture, particularly in America.
Yeah.
We don't.
Getting worse because our normal everything around us. The internet is super fast now. Fast food, fast this, fast ordering, Amazon and same day delivery. So we are training ourselves to be, our culture is training us to be even less likely to want to wait for things.
Yeah.
So,
and by the way, there's something that has happened that I actually noticed it when it happened, and then it's been reinforced. But if you go back and, like, for example, we talked about I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy was actually, it was a breakthrough in production. And what they did is you could see the set. And Desi was the mastermind behind all this, by the way.
Right.
He set up 3 cameras, filming from different angles all the time. So when you see I Love Lucy, you see basically what you would typically see if you were sitting down at a dinner, and you're just observing everybody at that dinner at once, and you're seeing it as it is. Okay, and I saw this happen in the late 1990s and 2000s. Is the producers went to flipping the scenes, and if you notice, when you watched either a TV program or a movie, you won't see a scene on the TV or the film more than 10-15 seconds. And it's
that's true.
And it's zip, 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 and it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's all the time about everything because they adopted that way, which they thought was going to keep the people interested.
Right.
Okay, so your kids and my grandkids, that's how they function.
Right. attention spans have shortened greatly.
Because it's fast. And so the TV itself is promoting the speed. Things happen fast. You can order fast. You can get on the computer fast. You can do things fast. And interesting enough, and I can remember, when the internet first came out, if the kids today,
they would die.
They would say, I can't do this.
And that dial-up tone and waiting for all of us.
This is way too slow. And what do we look for in our business? We look for in our houses. Can I get faster internet speed? Because I want it to be faster. And that's a mentality. I want everything to be fast. And God says, interesting enough, the way I deliver the covenant is slow. Wow, is that a conflict? Yeah, but I need the answer. Yeah, but I want the answer now. Yeah, but I need this to happen now. Yeah, but God says, well, in my world, it's slow. You're going to have to walk slow. You're going to have to wait. And wow, that is something. So let's get into it and see waiting. Let's go to, first of all, Psalm 33, 18 to 22.
Sure. It says, behold, the eye of the Lord is on those who fear him, on those who hope in his mercy to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waits for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. For our heart shall rejoice in him because we have trusted in his holy name. Let your mercy, O Lord, be upon us, just as we hope in you.
Okay, now, it's interesting because this is where you got to pay attention to the words. Okay, twice he uses hope and he uses mercy. The word mercy is covenant.
Right.
God is loyal to the covenant. I'm going to deliver to you the covenant, and he says, I want you to have hope. The word hope isn't, well, I hope. Our word hope is, well, I hope it happens. Maybe
almost
not.
Almost like I wish.
I wish it happens. I don't know if it's going to happen. Maybe not. I hope it does. The word hope here is expectation of the very, very best.
Okay.
And so he says, I am going to deliver the covenant. I'm loyal to it. I'm going to ask you to pray for the covenant upon you and have confidence it's going to be so. He said, so that's the backdrop of why I'm asking you to do something. And in verse 20, he says, my soul. Okay, remember, what is the soul?
That's like our inner essence,
it's
basically.
Your essence. It's your place of your emotion, your will, your intellect, your thought life. Everything about it is you, your personality. And by the way, there are people that have a little bit more personality toward waiting. They tend to be okay with waiting. Others, like me, I'm super impatient.
Right.
Because I just want to go. I love driving fast, but I like hey, let's get to the punchline. Come on, let's go. I can say Linda's a great storyteller, and she can get into great detail.
Right.
And I can say,
and you like the punchline.
Yeah, and I'll say to her, and there's when we were first married in California, there was a sports radio program. And the guy was very, very clever, and he played all these different characters himself at the radio program, and he would start telling a story about a sports figure,
right?
And he's talking and he's going on and on with the detail, and then he's going on and on. Then he interrupts himself, and he says in a different voice, "Get to the point, will you, Jim?"
I love it.
It's like, oh yeah, I kind of got carried away. Get to the point, will you, Jim? And so Linda and I listened to that radio program, and we caught that phrase, "Get to the point, will you, Jim?" So Linda, particularly when she's getting into too much detail, I'll say, "Get to the point, will you, Jim?" And because I want to go fast. But the soul, it says your soul has to get into a posture of waiting for God to deliver the covenant of which you expect.
Right.
So it's going to be delivered. And if you expect it, he says, then are you willing to wait for me to put everything in place for me to deliver it? And I got to get you to the right place at the right time with the right people, that I've organized everything, structured everything, which we'll talk more about, and you kind of alluded to it, so that I can deliver to you the covenant. And there's a whole element of that you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he says, you can be confident I'm going to deliver it. You can be confident it's going to be sure. Hope for that. Have expectation for that. But do not ask me to do it on your timeline.
That's good.
Are you willing to wait? Are you willing to wait? And we'll talk more about that. Okay, go to Psalm 62, 1 to 2, and then 5 to 8. Psalm 62.
Truly, my soul silently waits for God. From him comes my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved.
Okay, and then down to 5.
My soul waits silently for God alone, for my expectation is from him. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. In God is my salvation and my glory. The rock of my strength and my refuge is in God. Trust in him at all times, you people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us.
Okay. Again, he says twice. He says, my soul waits silently for God. We'll come back to that. He says, I will wait for him because he's my salvation. He's my defense. He's my refuge. And I will not be moved because he's my strength. And he's going to deliver the covenant. Okay, so he's implying, so when you think of two things, salvation, remember, not a ticket to heaven, it's the wholeness of life. And basically, when you receive the word salvation,
and involves healing in that as well.
Healing, deliverance. He says, I'm going to give you all of the privileges of the covenant, and you're going to experience salvation and wholeness and healing and deliverance and blessing and enjoyment, wonderful relationships. I'm going to guide you into all that and deliver it, one. And then he says, let me be your deliverer and your refuge. Okay, so when you think about that, what does that bring to mind? It says, I'm going to be your defense, and I'm going to be your refuge. What is that?
Think about, that means things are coming against me.
Yeah.
That I need to be delivered from, or that I need to be protected from as well.
Yeah.
Or shielded from.
Yeah. So he's implying, in life, you're going to have difficulty. You're going to have things against you. You have a spiritual enemy against you. Satan is and his demonic. You have people against you, and Satan is using self-centered people to oppose you. You have business issues. You have things that don't quite work. You have things that aren't coming together. He said, but you
have your own selfish desires that come against you.
And I cause my own trouble. Yeah. And so that I am trusting that God is going to be my protector while I go through that. So it's not that I get exempt from it, but I'm protected. And that I'll deliver salvation, the covenant. And he says twice, wait. And the word there is wait silently. Okay, so if you're not silent, what are you doing?
You're talking.
You're talking. And when you're struggling with waiting, what would you be saying?
Probably complaining or coming up with your own plans and everything else.
Yeah. So it's, hey, come on. I got to get going. I got to get this done and give me the answer. I'm not happy that I don't have the answer. Hey, what about? And that's why he puts in that word silently, purposely. And that is that, are you going to be at rest? Basically, when you're silent, you're at rest. And you're saying, okay, I don't yet know.
Right.
I haven't received it yet. but I understand the depth and the necessity of waiting because you're up to something and the timing isn't right yet. And I'm okay with that. And I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just going to say, okay, what do you have to say now? What are you going to show me now? And give me, in a sense, give me a peaceful heart about all this.
Yeah. I also see in that a posture of intentional listening. You know, you've talked about in prayer time how sometimes we tend to just worry in God's direction and then hang up the call and not wait and see what he has to say. And so I think having that practice of intentionally listening as we wait. I mean, I even have in my time with Jesus in the mornings, I have a separate time where I really just sit and I'll pose a question to him and I'll just be quiet before him until I hear him speak something, you know, and write down what he's speaking. But I think that waiting in silence, silence one is hard for us, period. And so it's something we have to be intentional and train ourselves to do. So I think there's both and going on there. It's that intentional listening as well as what you're describing there. And I think it's just a beautiful picture, though.
And then let's finish with Psalm 40:1-5.
Sure. Psalm 41:5 says, I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. He also brought me out of the horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock and established my steps. He has put a new song in my mouth, praise to our God. Many will see it in fear and will trust in the Lord. Blessed is the man who makes the Lord his trust and does not respect the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. Many, O Lord my God, are your wonderful works which you have done, and your thoughts toward us cannot be recounted to you in order. If I would declare and speak of them, they are more than can be numbered.
So he says, again, I waited patiently. I wasn't in a rush. For the Lord, I have an issue. I said, God, I have an issue. What do you have to say about that? He brought me up out of this being stuck in the mud, basically. I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. He brought me out of it, set my feet upon a rock. I'm going to put you on stable ground and now walk with. He says, actually, let's go step forward, step by step by step, and be patient. I'm going to put a new song in you. You're going to trust me. You're going to see the wonderful works that I'm doing and going to do because I think about you all the time. So he's saying that even when you're in a position where, man, I got a problem, and I don't know what to do here or what's going to be the outcome of this. He says, well, go back to covenant. Trust me. I'm going to deliver you to the covenant. I'm going to bless you to make you a blessing. You're not going to stay here. I'll pull you out of this being stuck, and then because being stuck is I don't know which way to go.
Right.
And so I'm going to show you which way to go. I'll set you on a firm path that you'll see. Okay, now I see what you're up to, and it'll be a wonderful work. And the key is you got to wait. If you try to do it, it's interesting enough, and I don't know if I've done this when I've gone hiking, where I've slipped into a quicksand little hole, and you try to get yourself out of it,
right?
And you get deeper and deeper into it, and you got to stop. Actually, you got to stop and be patient, and then see how do I move so that I don't actually make it worse. And that's why he says wait patiently for this. I tell you,
God gave me the most beautiful illustration of waiting on him while we were in Turks and Caicos, actually. We took, I think I told you, we took the Hobie cat out a couple different times, and we don't know how to navigate it. So we have to, they have captains there that you can have. And so our captain was just such a nice and fun guy, great to talk to. He's from Haiti, and he had been living in Turks and Caicos for 13 years, goes back like 1 month a year to see his family, and he really supports his family still. That's how he is able to. But he's been sailing his whole life, and he would share, like I said, we went out with him a couple of different times, and I would get talking to him, and he would share, he's up there doing all these things. He's pulling ropes, he's shifting the sail, he's got this, he had this little trick, and he was showing us how he used this trick. He would hold this certain rope with his toe so that it didn't latch, and it would be ready, but he could respond more quickly. Anyway, we're going along, and so he's been showing us all these little things that he does, and then we get out a little ways, and all of a sudden the wind stops completely. There's just no wind whatsoever. And there's another Hobie cat not that far from us too, and he's out there kind of doing his thing. And I notice as I'm talking to our captain, he's just sitting there. The wind is silent, and he's laughing, he's smiling, he's talking. He is totally in ready position, but he's not doing anything. He's not stressed about it. And I kind of chuckled, and I'm like, hey, we need some wind, don't we? And he laughed, and God just said in that moment, he's like, pay attention to what this man says. And it was the most beautiful example. He's like, I know the wind. It's like, I know the wind. See how I'm ready for it? When it's not here, I don't do what this captain over here is doing. I don't work hard and try to make it happen. I sit, I enjoy, I wait for the wind. And no joke, he said it like this, and I think it must be Creole too, because he used what was the Greek, and I'm like, oh my gosh, did everybody just hear that? I was freaking out. But he's like, and then when the pneuma comes, he said pneuma, that's the Holy Spirit, in Greek. He said, and then when the pneuma comes, I'm ready to go, and I get back to shore faster and farther than everyone else. And I'm like, if that is not the perfect example of waiting on God, I don't know what is. He said, I know the wind. I sit ready and waiting and enjoy. And when the pneuma comes, I go with it.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah, wait, because God's up to things. He's putting things in place. Timing, the domino that he's ready for you to hit is going to have downstream impact, and including even years later. So just enjoy. That's a great thing. Just enjoy. Wait. It's going to happen. It's coming. You can have hope in it, expectation, and which actually we're going to talk to. And
be ready.
We'll talk to tomorrow. We're going to talk about this aspect of hope and what really that is. So we'll continue this discussion. Waiting is difficult, but it's very important as we learn it, because we can really then receive it. And we can't make God go faster just because things are going faster. It's I've got a pace to it. I've got truth to it. Just enjoy the walk.
It's just like that other captain trying so hard, and he couldn't make the boat go anywhere.
Yeah. So we will pick it up tomorrow, and we'll talk about hope.
Great. Thanks so much. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Come and See, your podcast for truth in a world of chaos. Brought to you by All for Jesus Living Waters Ministry. Send us your questions and comments, and tune in tomorrow for more answers to your personal questions about living life in God's truth. Remember, God's will is best and none better. His truth brings peace in this world of chaos.